welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining me again today. We're exploring how the heart of God is revealed through the commandments. Today we're going to explore number 7. You shall not commit adultery. All through Scripture, adultery is a picture of unfaithfulness. God calls Israel at times adulterous, in that they went off, left their primary relationship with Him and chased after other gods. Jesus calls the generation that he was living in an adulterous generation. He didn't mean that they were sexually active outside of marriage, but that in their relationship with God, they had substituted many other things for God. This commandment, of course, it is about faithfulness in marriage, but it is much bigger than that. It reveals God's heart for the importance of faithfulness. Faithfulness, trust, trustworthiness. Those are huge concepts all through the Scriptures. God calls us to be faithful. Why? Not because He's, can't stand us to have other affections, but He knows that faithfulness is a core value for living well, for living life to the full. Life will not be lived to the full if we aren't trustworthy in our relationships, if we aren't faithful in our relationships. The reality is, so many things come against that, don't they? Because relationships are messy, to be honest. Relationships are painful and messy at times, and we just want to throw up our hands and say, the heck with this relationship. I'm not going to commit myself to it any longer. I'm not going to give myself to it any longer. Now, I'm going to put a little caveat in here. Of course, when a relationship is destructive, and it's destroying us and it's harmful to us or abusive to us, obviously we have to get out of that relationship. But I'm talking about the normal, everyday ups and downs of relationships. Faithfulness is a reflection of the heart of God. God is faithful to us no matter what. He will not abandon us. He will not leave us. And that promise isn't based on our performance. God isn't saying, I'll be faithful to you if you're faithful to me. He's saying, I will be faithful to you until the very end, no matter what. That is the revelation of the heart of God for us. And as we walk in that relationship with Him, we find ourselves enabled and empowered to walk in relationships, faithful relationships with one another. Whether it's the church or our communities or our families or whatever it may be, people who walk in faithfulness with one another make it a healthy, nurturing place to be. A place where God can do His work among us and show Himself among us and to us and through us. So this whole issue of you shall not commit adultery is talking about you shall not be unfaithful in relationships. You shall not break faith in relationships or break trust in relationships. Now, do we do that perfectly? Of course not. Of course not. We do fail one another. But faithfulness is that commitment to saying, even when you fail me, I will still be faithful to love you. I will still be faithful to value you, even though you may not show it to me or want it from me. I'm going to walk in faithfulness with you. That is a huge concept, a huge value with God. God's faithfulness. I mean, how many times through the Psalms do we read, your faithfulness reaches to the heavens. You are faithful. You are faithful to us. God is faithful. His faithfulness is a joy. His faithfulness is, we praise His faithfulness. We cherish the faithfulness of God. His unwillingness, here's a sort of a bottom definition. Faithfulness is an unwillingness to give up. An unwillingness to give up on relationships. And like I said, of course, if they become destructive and harmful, yes, we have to back out of those and get out of those. But I'm talking about just like I said, the ordinary ups and downs of life, the failures in other people's lives to live up to our expectations. And faithfulness says, in spite of those things, I will cherish this relationship. I will give myself to it. I will not give up on it. And even, the ones where there is a brokenness and so on, we still can have the attitude of saying, I will never give up. I'm never going to just totally wipe that off. There is a possibility always of restoration. So God's faithfulness to us is expressed in this commandment, and his desire for us to walk in faithfulness in our relationships, an attitude that says, I'm just not going to give up on you yet. That's good news for us. Let's think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow.